The sun beat down on the arid desert as the team of explorers trekked across the dunes, their faces covered in dust and sweat. They had been searching for weeks, following cryptic clues and ancient maps, in the hopes of discovering a hidden treasure or forgotten artifact. As they reached the top of a steep sand dune, one of the team members spotted something glinting in the distance. "Over there," he shouted, pointing towards a rocky outcropping in the distance. "That must be it." The team quickened their pace, eager to see what lay ahead. As they approached the rocky outcropping, they could see that it was riddled with ancient carvings and symbols, etched deep into the stone. They knew they had found something truly extraordinary. As they drew closer, they noticed that the symbols seemed to be arranged in a pattern, almost like a map. One of the team members, a linguist and expert in ancient cultures, quickly began to decipher the symbols. "Look," she exclaimed. "This is a map to an ancient temple, buried deep beneath the earth. And according to these symbols, there's something inside that's been sleeping for thousands of years." The team's excitement grew as they realized the significance of their discovery. They spent the next several days carefully excavating the site, unearthing an intricate system of tunnels and chambers that led deep into the earth. Finally, they reached the heart of the temple, where they found a massive stone statue. It was the figure of a creature, unlike anything they had ever seen before. Its body was covered in scales, and its eyes gleamed with an otherworldly light. As they gazed upon the creature, they felt a strange sensation, almost like the air around them was growing charged with energy. Suddenly, there was a deep rumbling sound, and the ground shook beneath their feet. In horror, the team watched as the creature began to stir, slowly coming to life before their very eyes. They realized too late that they had awakened an ancient creature that had been sleeping for thousands of years. As the creature rose from its slumber, the team could see that its power was immense. They had awoken a force that they could not control, and the consequences of their actions would soon become clear. The team of explorers watched in awe and fear as the massive stone creature before them came to life. The creature's scales glinted in the dim light of the underground chamber, and its eyes seemed to glow with a fierce intelligence. As the creature rose to its full height, it let out a deafening roar that echoed through the tunnels. The team members scrambled to find cover, their hearts pounding in their chests. For a moment, the creature seemed to be disoriented, its movements slow and unsteady as it adjusted to its newfound consciousness. But as it became more aware of its surroundings, its movements became smoother, more purposeful. The team realized with growing horror that they had awoken something far beyond their control. The creature was not a mere statue, but a living being of unimaginable power and ancient magic. As the creature began to move towards them, the team members frantically looked for a way out. But the tunnels were narrow and maze-like, and the creature seemed to be blocking every path. One of the team members, a young woman named Maya, had an idea. "We need to find the source of the magic that's animating the creature," she said. "If we can sever that connection, we might be able to stop it." The rest of the team nodded in agreement, and they set out to search for the source of the magic. It was a harrowing journey, filled with danger at every turn, but they pressed on, determined to find a way to stop the creature. Finally, they reached a hidden chamber deep beneath the temple. Inside, they found a glowing crystal, pulsing with an otherworldly light. It was the source of the creature's power. Without hesitation, Maya stepped forward and used her knowledge of ancient magic to sever the connection between the crystal and the creature. For a moment, the creature seemed to falter, its movements growing sluggish. But then, with a sudden burst of energy, the creature broke free of the chamber and began to rampage through the tunnels once more. The team realized with horror that they had only made things worse. As they fled for their lives, they could hear the creature's roar growing louder and closer behind them. They had awoken an ancient being of immense power, and now the consequences of their actions were coming back to haunt them. The team of explorers emerged from the tunnels, gasping for breath and covered in dust and debris. As they looked back at the temple, they could see the creature emerging from the ground, its massive form towering over the desert landscape. It let out a deafening roar that shook the very earth beneath their feet. The team watched in horror as the creature began to unleash its power, sending shockwaves and bolts of energy in every direction. The ground split open, and buildings crumbled to dust as the creature rampaged through the city. People ran screaming through the streets, trying to find shelter from the monster's wrath. The team knew that they had awoken a force beyond their understanding, and now the consequences of their actions were beginning to play out in a catastrophic way. Maya looked at her colleagues with tears in her eyes. "We have to do something," she said. "We can't just stand by and watch as this creature destroys everything in its path." The team nodded, determined to find a way to stop the creature before it was too late. They searched their minds for any knowledge or magic that could help them, but it seemed that the creature's power was beyond anything they had ever encountered. As they huddled together, trying to come up with a plan, they heard a strange sound in the distance. It was a deep, guttural chant, echoing through the streets. The team followed the sound, their hearts pounding with hope and fear. As they turned a corner, they saw a group of people gathered around an old man, chanting in a language that none of them understood. The old man looked up and saw the team approaching. "You have awoken the Ancient One," he said. "And now you must be the ones to put it back to sleep." He handed the team a strange amulet, carved from an unknown material. "Use this," he said. "It is the only way to stop the creature." The team looked at the amulet in confusion, but they knew that they had no other choice. They set out to find the creature, their hearts heavy with the weight of their actions. Finally, they came face to face with the creature, its eyes glowing with a fierce intelligence. The team stood firm, their hands trembling as they held up the amulet. For a moment, nothing happened. But then, with a sudden burst of energy, the creature let out a final roar and collapsed to the ground. The team watched in amazement as the creature's body crumbled to dust, its power dissipating into the air. The team knew that they had paid a heavy price for their curiosity and ambition. But they also knew that they had learned a valuable lesson about the power of ancient magic and the importance of respecting the mysteries of the past. The team of explorers returned home, exhausted and haunted by the memory of the ancient creature they had awoken. But their relief at having stopped the monster was short-lived. News began to spread of strange and catastrophic events happening all over the world. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and freak storms were destroying cities and killing thousands of people. The team realized with growing horror that the creature they had awoken had not been contained. Its power had spread across the globe, unleashing destruction and chaos on an unprecedented scale. As the team scrambled to find a way to stop the creature's worldwide rampage, they were approached by a group of experts in ancient magic and history. The experts had studied the creature's origins and believed they had a solution. According to their research, the creature was not truly alive, but rather a construct created by an ancient civilization as a weapon. The civilization had used powerful magic to imbue the creature with a consciousness and sentience that allowed it to act on its own. The experts believed that if they could find the original creators of the creature, they might be able to reverse the spell that had given it life. The team set out on a new journey, determined to find the civilization that had created the creature. They traveled across oceans and deserts, following ancient maps and clues left behind by long-dead explorers. Finally, they arrived at the ruins of an ancient city, buried deep beneath the earth. As they explored the ruins, they discovered a hidden chamber filled with artifacts and ancient texts. One of the team members, a linguist named Dr. Zhang, began to translate the texts. As he read, his eyes widened in disbelief. "This is it," he said. "This is the spell to reverse the creature's creation." The team worked tirelessly to recreate the spell, gathering the necessary materials and reciting the incantations with precision. Finally, they completed the ritual, and a brilliant light filled the chamber. When the light faded, the team realized with relief that the spell had worked. The creature's power had dissipated, and the worldwide destruction had come to an end. The team returned home, exhausted but grateful for having put an end to the ancient creature's rampage. They knew that they had learned a valuable lesson about the dangers of meddling with ancient magic and the importance of respecting the mysteries of the past. The team of explorers had barely recovered from the devastation caused by the ancient creature's rampage when they were confronted with a new challenge. The world's leaders demanded answers and solutions to prevent similar disasters from happening in the future. The team's leader, Dr. Carter, knew that they had to act fast. He gathered the team together to begin brainstorming ideas for a solution. After hours of discussion, they finally hit upon an idea. They would develop a device that could detect and neutralize any ancient magic that posed a threat to humanity. The team began working feverishly on the device, pouring all their knowledge and expertise into the project. Weeks turned into months, and finally, the device was complete. They called it the Magi Neutralizer, and it worked by detecting the unique magical energy signature of ancient constructs and nullifying it with a counterspell. It was a breakthrough in magical technology, and the team was confident that it would change the course of history. The Magi neutralizer was immediately put to the test when news arrived of another ancient creature's awakening. The team flew to the location, armed with their new device. As they approached the creature, they could feel its power coursing through the air, and they knew they had to act fast. They activated the Magi neutralizer, and the creature's power began to dissipate, losing its hold over the world around it. The creature began to shrink, and eventually, it disappeared, leaving only a pile of rubble where it had once stood. The team cheered in triumph, knowing that they had saved countless lives and prevented another worldwide disaster. They had found a solution to the problem of ancient constructs and their destructive power. From that day forward, the Magi neutralizer became a crucial tool in the fight against ancient magic. It was used to protect the world from countless threats, and the team that had developed it became legends in the world of magic and exploration. The team knew that there would always be new challenges and dangers to face, but they also knew that they had the power to overcome them. They had proven that with ingenuity, teamwork, and a little bit of magic, anything was possible. Years had passed since the team of explorers had discovered and awoken the ancient creature that nearly destroyed the world. The world had moved on, but the team had not forgotten the lessons they had learned. The Magi neutralizer had become an essential tool in the fight against ancient magic, and the team continued to use it to neutralize any potential threats. But as they traveled the world, they began to realize that their actions had consequences they had not foreseen. The neutralization of ancient magic had unintended side effects, and the balance of the world's natural systems had been disrupted. Forests that had been lush and vibrant had withered and died. Rivers that had once teemed with fish were now barren. The air had grown thick and polluted, and the world's weather patterns had become erratic. The team realized with growing horror that they had caused irreparable damage to the world in their quest to prevent ancient constructs from causing destruction. They knew they had to act fast to mitigate the damage they had done. They called upon the world's best scientists and environmental experts to help them find a solution. Together, they developed a plan to restore the world's natural systems. They would use their knowledge of ancient magic to create new spells that could revitalize forests, purify water, and restore the balance of the world's ecosystems. The team knew that it would be a long and arduous process, but they were determined to make amends for the damage they had caused. For years, they worked tirelessly, traveling the world to perform spells and incantations to heal the damage they had done. Slowly but surely, the world began to return to its natural state. Forests sprouted new growth, and animals returned to their habitats. Rivers and lakes began to teem with life once again. The air grew cleaner, and the world's weather patterns stabilized. The team knew that their work was not yet done, but they also knew that they had taken responsibility for their actions and had worked to make things right. They had learned that even with the best intentions, their actions could have unintended consequences. But they had also learned that it was never too late to make amends and work towards a better future. Despite their efforts to restore balance to the world, the team of explorers knew that there was still a powerful ancient construct out there that posed a grave threat to humanity. They had heard rumors of its existence, and they knew that it had the potential to cause even more destruction than the creature they had already faced. They set out on a dangerous journey to find the ancient construct, knowing that this would be their final battle. The fate of the world hung in the balance. After months of searching, they finally found the construct deep in a hidden valley, surrounded by mountains. It was enormous, towering over them like a mountain of its own. The team could feel its power emanating from within, and they knew that they were in for the fight of their lives. They began to cast their most potent spells, pouring all their knowledge and expertise into the battle. The construct fought back, using its immense power to resist their spells. The battle raged on for days, and it seemed as though neither side was gaining the upper hand. The team was exhausted, and their spells were growing weaker by the hour. Just when it seemed as though all was lost, a voice spoke to them from within. It was the voice of the ancient construct itself. "I have seen the destruction that my kind has caused," it said. "And I know that it cannot continue. I will surrender to you, and I will be neutralized. But on one condition." The team listened intently, waiting to hear the condition. "You must promise me that you will use your power and knowledge to prevent further destruction in the world," The construct said, "You must use your talents to help heal the damage that has been done and to prevent further harm." The team knew that this was a fair condition, and they agreed to the construct's request. They neutralized it, and the world breathed a sigh of relief. The team had fought their final battle, and they had emerged victorious. But they knew that their work was not yet done. They had made a promise to the ancient construct, and they intended to keep it. They would use their knowledge and power to help heal the world, to restore balance to nature, and to prevent further destruction. They would work tirelessly to create a better future for humanity and for the world as a whole. The team had learned that with great power comes great responsibility, and they had accepted that responsibility with open hearts and open minds. They had saved the world, and they knew that they could make it a better place for all. After the final battle was won and the ancient construct was neutralized, the world was left in a state of chaos. The destruction caused by the creatures had left many cities in ruins, and the world was left with a long road of recovery ahead. The team of explorers, who had once been celebrated as heroes, now found themselves in a difficult position. They had made a promise to the ancient construct to use their power and knowledge to help heal the world, and they knew that they had to make good on that promise. They traveled from city to city, using their magic and expertise to repair buildings and infrastructure that had been destroyed. They worked with local leaders to establish new systems and structures that would ensure that the world would be better prepared in the future should another threat arise. As they worked, they found that the destruction caused by the creatures had brought people together in a way that they had never seen before. Neighbors helped each other, communities came together, and strangers became friends as they worked to rebuild their world. The team knew that they had played a crucial role in this process, but they also knew that it was the resilience and determination of the people themselves that had made the recovery possible. As the months passed, the world slowly but surely began to recover. Cities were rebuilt, and people returned to their normal lives. But the team knew that the scars left behind by the creatures would never fully heal. They continued to work, using their magic and knowledge to ensure that the world would never again face such destruction. They trained new generations of explorers and mages, passing down their knowledge and experience so that the world would be better prepared for whatever the future might hold. Years passed, and the team grew old. They had done their best to heal the world and prevent further destruction, and they knew that their time had come to an end. But as they looked back on their lives, they knew that they had made a difference. They had fought against the forces of destruction and had emerged victorious. They had helped to heal the world and had ensured that it would be a better place for generations to come. And as they closed their eyes for the final time, they knew that their legacy would live on. The world would always remember the brave explorers who had saved it from destruction, and their memory would inspire future generations to continue the fight for a better world.